Hello guys, I'm Ty, which you may know as the Terran City, and welcome back to Gotham Reviews. Now, before we continue, I'd like to point out something. I want to point out a writer and developer of the show. Someone who sort of started off the show with a bang, but after he left, it sort of went in a wibble wobble thing. And I'm of course talking about Bruno Heller. Bruno Heller is one of those people that you sort of, he's really good. He's a really good writer here. He's the guy that started off the show with two really solid episodes, the pilot episode and Selena Kyle. Both were really good episodes. They did have problems, yeah, but they were very entertaining and they were very well written, and they remain as one of my favourite episodes. However, the rest of the season I can't really say. Blue Man was a very fun episode. It was a really nice improvement over. It was a really nice episode. Not perfect, but still good. Arkham wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad episode. It was just interesting. Viper was just a rip-off of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which, yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s not a good show. But come on, guys. You're ripping off a show that I don't care for. And The Spirit of the Go isn't really a bad episode, but it is interesting, like Arkham. But yeah, overall, it's so yeah, ever since Bruno Heller left until this episode, it's basically been a wibble wobble. Some episodes are fun, some episodes are interesting, and some episodes are just mediocre. I'm saying this because Bruno Heller just came back for the 7th episode titled Penguin's Umbrella. So, was this able to be a really great episode, or is it just making me want to watch Viper again? Let's find out. Alright guys, let's get right into it. Gotham, Season 1, Episode 7, Penguin's Umbrella. It is once again written by Bruno Heller and directed by Rob Bailey. Now, the plot of this episode is that it takes place right after the events of the 6th episode. And it pulls no punches. Gordon is now a wanted man, and he's wanted for dead because he didn't kill Oswald Cobblepot, and Oswald is now known as a big live man. And so war breaks out. Bullock and everyone, Falcone and Fish Mooney, they want him dead. The police force won't help him, and he is a wanted man. And the only thing he can trust is himself. So that's the episode. That's the basic plot of this episode. And I have to say, Penguin's Umbrella is surprisingly a big improvement over the last episodes we've got. Episode 5 and 6 weren't terrible episodes. They were just episodes that had very weak villains and that. And it was nice to go back to the story arc episodes. And I know that episode 5 and 6 and 4 were story-driven episodes. But they were mostly standalone episodes. They were mostly villains of the week. So I'm glad we went back to the basics, and I'm glad we went back to what the 1st and 2nd episode was so great at. The writing, the action, the humour, really well done. This is probably one of the best episodes of the season. Is it perfect? Not really. But no episode in this show is perfect by any means. Now, Ben McKenzie I really liked in this episode. He's really grown since the last episode, and he really pulls no punches here. This is a character that's been through a lot, and he's had enough of it. And you can sort of get through that. He is also vulnerable at the same time, because he's sort of, like that. For once, I'm not talking about Donald Logue. He really doesn't do a whole lot in this episode. But when he did appear, he was really great, and he really stole the show, and he still remains one of my favourite characters of the show. Now, Victor Carterton and Andrew Stewart Jones has Renee Montoya and Crispus Allen. I'm going to say they were good, but they were really pointless, and they were like in the 6th episode. They were just there for the ride, which you can see why I didn't mention them in the last episode. John Dorman as Falcone. He really steals the show here. He's probably close to my 3rd favourite character, up there with Jim Gordon and Bullock. He really nails it here. He really gets that a sort of sinister feel, like you don't know what he's gonna do. Now, David Zayas is again good. He really steals the show here. but he doesn't really do a whole lot here. He's the character that I don't really seem to care for. Jada Pinkett Smith, I would say she's good. She's a good character, but it seems like she's blind. She doesn't even know what Falcone is planning. The secret weapon that she had in the 5th episode still was with Falcone, and it ended on that note, and it had me like what was going to happen. But she's like, he hasn't done anything with her, and he must know something. Well, Mooney, let me tell you something. He's either A, knows that it's creepy for an old man to be with a young woman, or 2, he knows that you're starting a war. But we'll get to why the war bit he knows. That one's stupid. Yeah. However, the best thing is really the still shower here, and it's probably the best thing about the show. Robin Lord Taylor as Oswald Cobblepot is easily the best thing about the show, up there with Donald Logue as Bullock. He really nails it here, and he's very creepy, funny, and you don't know. And he's a character that you don't know what he's gonna do. You don't know, because you feel like that when you turn your back, he's gonna do something, and you don't know. And he's this character that you can't really seem to trust. And he's surprisingly a character that he really double crosses people in this episode. He's a character that double crosses everyone in this season, and that's surprising. Because, okay, this is going to lead to major spoilers. So if you guys haven't seen the show, you can actually see it on Demand 4 if you want to. Okay. Penguin has been double-crossing a lot of people. He's been double-crossing the police, Gordon, Fish, and Maroney. So, who's he working for? Falcone. There's an explanation for it, but I'm not going to tell you why Penguin's Falcone's double agent, for people who haven't seen the episode. However, there's a flashback after that moment in episode 1. Again, I'm not spoiling it, but you can sort of see why I mentioned why Falcone knows there's a war coming. So you can sort of see why. But I won't tell you why. Now, the humour in this episode. Spirit of the Go, I don't think really had humour. It was more of a straight up serious episode. But the humour here really worked. It was really entertaining. Really entertaining. It mostly comes from Bullock, and I really liked his character here. Really great, and I really liked how he was. The action here. There's really some great action here. The director is Bob Bailey, and he really made some of the best action in this show. It's really well choreographed, and it's not just shaky cam, quick cuts and that. No, you actually get to see what happens in the episode. You actually get to see what the hell's going on, aside from the shaky cam, quick cut sort of thing. It's really well done, and I appreciate it. The cinematography is also really excellent. But however, there's not really a whole lot of cinematography. However, even though I don't mind this episode, I do have a big problem with it. Bullock and Gordon. They aren't bad in the episode. The actors do a really good job, but it mostly comes from the script. They don't have an explanation for why I get that. I get Harvey. I get that he says he doesn't want to kill Gordon because he's a most wanted man and he wants to join Gordon. But when Gordon sees Bullock just straight up going to his house, he's like, why? He's like, why are you here? Why should I trust you? And it's like, I don't know. You guys probably have an explanation. For to me, it felt very out of place and really, yeah. But aside from that, that's actually a nitpick, because this episode is really entertaining. I really enjoyed it. That was just a nitpick, because I really didn't care for it. But the biggest problem I have is obviously Barbara. Barbara. What? I mean, if you guys don't know what's the problem, is that the episode pretty much opens with her getting out of Gotham, which I thought we wouldn't see her, like in Viper. So, hooray! But then, at the end of the episode, where Gordon and Bullock put their plan of arresting the mayor and and Falcone, it turns out she's been arrested. She went back to Gotham to plead for Falcone, and she got kidnapped, and it's like, what? And what? And she's kidnapped by Zaz. Zaz. If you guys don't know who Zaz is, he's a Batman villain. But I don't have that much of a nitpick. He's just a nitpick character. But this is my biggest complaint, is he is really out of place here. Actually, no, she's out of place here. She's there just to be the damsel in distress. And why is she here? Really, why is she here? We'll explain that in the last episode. In the end, I did enjoy this episode. Despite that big problem, it wasn't that much of a complaint, because I did enjoy the episode. It had a really nice cast, fantastic action sequences, really solid humour, and it was overall a really good episode. However, another thing occurs. I want this to be a two-parter. This should have easily been a two-part episode. This episode has some amazing ideas, but he never really explores it, and it's sort of, and kind of wish there was a two-part episode. Have the first part just have him being the most wanted man, and have part 2 just have him having this war to arrest the mayor and Falcone. It would have made a lot more sense, but that's just me. But again, it's a nitpick, so what the hell. In the end, this was a really entertaining episode, so, you know guys, you can say that I have a lot of complaints with this episode, but I don't really care. It was a very entertaining episode, and with its really great ending, I'm hoping to see what they can do in the F episode. So, 10 out of 10, surprisingly. This was very, actually no, 9.9, but it's near close to a 10. If Barbara wasn't in this, actually no, wait. 9.7. Okay, that's it. But still, Penguin's Umbrella still remains has one of my favourite episodes out there. And Bruno Heller is probably one of my favourite writers on Gotham thus far. She, aside from Barbara barely being in there, and Gordon not questioning Bullock why he's not in his house, this was overall a really entertaining episode, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, 9.7, a really entertaining episode. So, see ya.